I spent $1,500 and I f***ed myself out of 500. So here's the full story. All right, today is July 18th. It's a Wednesday, and I recently bought a person's entire video game collection, including PS1 games. There's a bunch of Dragon Ball Z stuff here and some Legend of Zelda stuff, and I paid $1,500 for all of it. On Sunday, I woke up and I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, and I noticed this guy had listed his entire PlayStation collection, his entire Dragon Ball Z collection, and his entire Legend of Zelda collection. And I was reading the listing, and me being a PlayStation guy first, I noticed that a lot of these games are super rare, super hard to find, and bring in quite a bit of money. And he didn't have a price on anything, and he put in his listing, he said, I would really like to get rid of all of it, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I shot him a message out of curiosity. I looked up a few things, and I figured at a guesstimate I could sell all of this for at least $2,500. So I sent him a message. I said, out of curiosity, if somebody were to take all of it, how much would you want for it? He said probably $2,000 or so. He knows there was one PlayStation game in there called Suikoden 2. And he's also got the strategy guide for it. There's a fourth shelf down here that's not really showing up on camera that's filled with strategy guides. And he said he knows that's worth about $300. So I made him an offer, and I said, hey, I'll pay you $1,000 for it, and I can come pick it up all today. And he said $1,000 was way too low. So I told him, I said, you know what, my maximum, I can come up to $1,500, and that's as high as I can go. And I would take everything. And in his listing, he also noted he had an N64 in the box, a Game Boy Micro, a PlayStation with the travel screen, and some other stuff that wasn't pictured. The day passed. The next morning he woke up, and he said, hey, he's like, I could take out some of the stuff and I could do $1,500. And I told him I would only be interested in paying $1,500 if I got everything that was listed in the listing. And he said that he felt that would be pretty low, but he would look up some of it, and he'd look up until he hit $1,500 and see how much was left and see if he was happy with that. And at that point, I'm like, he's not going to take it. Like, he's going to realize he's got about $2,500 to $3,000 worth of stuff. This is Monday now, and later that afternoon, he says, hey, I think I can do the $1,500. And I said, okay. I'm like, when would you like to meet? At this point, I'm at work, and I tell him I probably wouldn't be able to meet today because I would have to go to the bank and get some money. We agreed to meet on Tuesday night after I got off work. And I told him there was a chance that I could get off early on Tuesday, and that ended up being completely wrong. I ended up getting off late just because of the way some stuff was lined up. And so I ended up getting to his house. I had my fiance with me on Tuesday night. I got there at about 11 o'clock. And he works from 7 to 4, so this was probably when he was going to bed. He actually sent me a message when I was about 5 minutes away from his house saying that he was about to crash and if I was going to make it. And I immediately go in and I immediately look at all the PlayStation stuff. I pick up the copy of Suikoden 2, the $200 game, and I look at the disc and stuff like that. Also, I should know, at this point, at work, I was looking up stuff before I went and picked it up, and I realized that instead of $2,500, I was looking at like $3,100 that I was going to hit with this stuff. So the deal was getting better and better. I look at Suikoden 2, and I look at some of the other rare games, and they're all in there, and I'm really focused on that, and I look at the Zelda 3DS that was there, and it's all looking good. So my fiance was with me, and she starts packing it up. The guy that's selling some stuff starts putting the PlayStation games in bags for me. Just side note, whenever I picked up Suikoden 2, I put it down, and then I looked at some others, and I started making a stack, and Suikoden 2 ended up in the middle of a stack of PlayStation games. And I noticed the PlayStation with the travel screen's not there, and I asked him about it. He says, hey, if I come across it, I'll message you. It's yours. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to hold up a deal on an $80 PlayStation. I'm not going to hold up this deal because there's a lot of profit to be made here anyway. I pack it all up. I'm excited. There's some stuff that he hands me that I didn't know I was getting, including some PlayStation 2 games that are really hard to find, and a Sega Genesis, which was not in the listing, and a one game for the Sega Genesis. You know, I'm happy. I pay him, and I start putting stuff in the car. It's raining at this point. I get everything in the car. I asked him if that was everything. He said yes. He was outside at this point, and I said okay. And we were on our way, and I had a carload of stuff, and I'm having her look some stuff up. And now that $3,100 has turned into about $3,500 that it looks like. So it's looking like I'm going to clear $2,000 in profit off of this stuff. And that's when I realized in the back of my head, I said, hey, I didn't get an N64. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, oh, he's looking for the PlayStation. There was a lot of stuff. He probably just forgot to pull it out, and we both missed it. Whatever. So I get home, and I notice I'm also missing the Game Boy Micro. And I'm missing some action figures, which the action figures, turns out they're not worth that much anyway, so I'm not too butthurt on it. Like, I'm not upset about that. And I noticed I left the Legend of Zelda. There was this chest for Legend of Zelda, and it's got a bunch of strategy guides in it, and there's only like 15,000 of them, I think, that were made, and it's worth like $80. And I know that was there. I remember picking it up and looking through the book. So I shoot him another message. I said, hey, I didn't get an N64 in the box. I didn't get the Game Boy Micro. The PlayStation with the travel screen, and hey, I left the Legend of Zelda chest by your couch. I said, can I come by again tomorrow and pick this stuff up? So I go to bed, and now it's 7 in the morning, whenever he messages me back, which is whenever he's leaving for work, and he says, hey, yeah, I've got the treasure chest. I've got some other boxes I can dig through to look for that stuff. I'll message you when I get off work. And I'm like, okay. And at this point, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I can't believe I left behind this much stuff. Like, it's hurting my soul. Like, I got tunnel vision on the PlayStation games where a lot of the money is, and I completely forgot about everything else. So at this point, I'm like, I need to figure out how much I'm going to make with this stuff that I left behind. And I had taken pictures of the PlayStation games, and while I'm looking them up at work, I noticed that Suikoden 2, the $200 game, is not in my stack. And like I said, I stacked them up, and it was in the middle of a stack. I remember physically picking it up, but now it's not here. It's not in my car. It is not in this room. I've turned this room upside down, and I just don't have it. It's not here. It's mystically disappeared. So I don't bring that up to him. I'm like, I'm going to tell him that to my face, or to his face whenever I get there. And at about 6 o'clock, he messages me again and says, hey, he's like, I don't have that treasure chest. He goes, you must have left it on the curb where it was raining and it's trash day. He goes, as for the other stuff, it must have been left on the curb too. And at this point, I'm like, he's lying. I'm pretty confident that he's lying because I know that treasure, like, I'm not dumb. It's raining. I'm not going to put something paper related on the ground where it can get wet and get ruined, especially if it's worth like $100. I know better. Which, granted, I messed up by leaving it behind in the first place. Like, I'm not admitting that I did not make any mistakes here. I want to make that clear. The N64 was never in the living room. The Game Boy Micro was never in the living room. He told me in the morning, he said the Game Boy Micro might be lost because the pictures that he posted to Facebook were old. And now he's telling me that the Game Boy Micro was in a mug, and I must have left it on the curb and the trash guys must have picked it up. Which I say bullshit to. Which makes me think, like I said, he put some of the PlayStation games in the bag, and I think he pulled Suikoden 2 back out and hid it in the other room while me and my fiance were outside loading stuff in the car. I don't have any proof of that. I cannot confirm that, but the only other option is that it fell out of the bag, and none of the bags that I had were PlayStation games on top. I put PlayStation games in, and then I stacked stuff up on top of the PlayStation games. So something else would have had to fall out. And it's just weird to me that the one game that turned up missing is the rarest game of them all. One of the rarest PlayStation 2 games there is. I think he pulled it on me. I don't have any proof, but the only other option is that it fell out. And I highly, highly doubt that it fell out. All in all, I ended up going back the next day, and I bring that up to him. I say, hey, my copy of Suikoden 2 is missing too. And he's like got the shocked face on, and I can't really read him, but he lets me walk into his bedroom, and he lets me like look in his house for it. And when I'm in the bedroom, I find the N64 in his closet, just sitting on a shelf. But I'm going to scratch that one up to, like I said, it was a lot of stuff. He probably thought he got it all. I thought he had it all out there, you know. Because in all honesty, if I would have noticed that the N64 and the Game Boy Micro were gone, and the PlayStation, I would have said, hey, I'll pay you $1,300 today, and if you find that other stuff, I'll come back and give you the other $200, and I'll come pick that stuff up. As for the treasure, like I said, the treasure chest, I think he put in another room too. Because, like I said, there's no way I left something paper-related in a puddle next to a curb while it was raining. There's just no way I would have done that. Absolutely no way I would have set anything down on the ground while it was raining. Like I said, I think I made the mistake and then he capitalized on it. There's no protection when you buy something over Facebook. But anyway, I messed up. I'm not trying to say that I didn't mess up. The stuff that I ended up leaving behind values out to about $500. Which sucks. It absolutely sucks, and I was sick to my stomach all day yesterday. But I slept, I woke up today, I said, hey, you know what? I still think all the stuff that I have here I added up, I still think I can sell for about $3,000, if not more. So I made a big mistake, but I can still make profit off of it. I can double my money off of it still. And this mistake is going to save me hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars if I keep doing this, because I'm never making this mistake again. I will print out a physical list or pull it up on my phone so I can check everything off as I stack it up. And I will not, if there's anything super valuable like a $200 video game, it's going in my pocket. It's going to be on my person the entire time. I will not leave it alone. So, yeah, it sucks, but there's a lot of valuable lessons here. And I hope that making this video with my mistake, that you guys learn from it too. Don't be afraid. Like, I was worried about the PlayStation games first, all the other stuff second, but that's also part of my own thing. I am a huge PlayStation fan, so I've been geeking out staring at these games. Really hard for me not to keep these games. There's a couple games that I'm going to list last so that I can play them before I get rid of them, and that's value to me anyway. But I digress. I'm getting off topic. So hopefully it was late, like he was staying up late for me to get there. I told him I was going to get off work early, and I ended up getting off work half an hour to 45 minutes late, and I felt bad about that. He seemed genuinely nice, but you can't trust anybody, I guess, and yeah, it sucks. It absolutely sucks, and I hate admitting this failure, but like I said, this mistake is going to cost me hundreds, or is going to save me hundreds to thousands of dollars in the future, because I am never, ever, ever making this mistake again. And I hope that you guys can learn from my mistake too. And don't be afraid to pull out your phone and check things off. And if everything's not there and you're not satisfied, don't pay them. But yeah, I ended up rushing through it, and it cost me. But like I said, the good thing is I still think I can sell everything on the shelf behind me for at least $3,000. And yeah, now that I've told you the story behind it, I know we're kind of got a long video going on. I'm going to show you every single thing that I got from this deal for $1,500. And we'll just start on the top shelf. We'll work our way down. I'm going to do the PlayStation games last, just because there's a lot of them. So we're going to start at the top, work our way down, and let's show you guys everything that I bought. Let's just jump right into it. All right, the first things I'm going to show you, I had no idea that I was getting them. And we're going to start off with these booklets first. So whenever I went back and picked up the N64, whenever I opened it when I got home, these booklets were crammed in there. We got a Sega CD manual for Lunar the Silver Star, a Sega Saturn manual for Albert Odyssey Legend of Eldine, a Sega Saturn manual for Shining Force 3, a Sega Saturn manual for Dragon Force, a Sega CD manual for Shining Force CD, and a Sega CD manual for Lunar Eternal Blue. Again, I had no idea that I was getting this stuff, and I was looking up, and each of these games, if they were complete in the box, are worth over $200, and a few of these manuals have sold on their own. I think I can list each of these manuals for like $40, and I think I can get that. So, like I said, I left behind some stuff, but this makes up for some of the stuff that I left behind. These are really cool manuals. They're all in pretty good condition. Like I said, I know for a fact the Shining Force CD recently sold for $39.99 plus shipping, I think. So yeah, these are really good finds, and that's what, $40 a piece. I said 40, 80, 120, 160, $240. So pretty good freebie there. Got a copy of Grand Theft Auto for the PS3, a copy of Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi for the Xbox 360. Copy of Wild Arms 3 for the PS2. Like I said, these are still games that I had no idea I was getting. Xenosaga Episode 1, Xenosaga Episode 2, and Xenosaga Episode 3. I know all three of these together sell for $150, and these were games that I had no idea that I was getting. So that also kind of helps that blow. I don't think I can sell this. This is a Steelbook Blu-ray for Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn and Wrath of the Dragon. As you can see, it's pretty beat up. They're both in here, so I might be able to pop out the discs, but I don't think I can sell this steel case as is. I know a friend of mine that's really into Dragon Ball Z, so I might just give this to him. I got this collector's edition of The Legend of Zelda, The Complete Season on DVD. This is brand new seal. There is a little peeling on the edge, so that's pretty neat. PS2 copies of Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2. This is the sequel to Final Fantasy X. That's why it's called Final Fantasy X 2. Collector's edition of Final Fantasy 12 for the PlayStation 2. It's a steelbook. And that's everything, I think. That's everything that I did not know that I was getting. So I've got this limited edition HD remaster of Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2 for the PS4. This is brand new sealed. I got these 3 Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild amiibos. They're out of their box. Each of these I think sell for about $30 a pop, if I remember right. Really, really neat little figures. Breath of the Wild is a fantastic game, so it's also hard for me not to keep those. And then I got this copy of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Collector's Edition, complete in the box. This sells for around $120, and I think my fiance said she was going to buy this off of me. So got some Pop Funkos here. We got just a plain old Deadpool. Got Vegeta with the Saiyan Scouter. Got a Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. I hope the glare is not too bad and you guys can actually see it. Got X-Men Deadpool. I know he sells for about $10. And Super Saiyan Goku. Then we got 3 other figures here. There's a couple of random Dragon Ball Z cards. I think they go for these figures, but these figures are new sealed. They've never been opened. And they are Dragon Ball Z Saiyan Scouters. They're the little headset thing. This one's got a green lens. This one's got a blue lens. And this one's got a red lens. I have no idea what any of that means. I've never watched Dragon Ball Z. But all 3 of these have sold together a few times on eBay for $50. So pretty good there. And that's everything on the top shelf. I'm going to put it back up and we'll move on down. Alright, next up we got this Game Boy copy of Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages. I just sold this, I believe, for like $20. It does have a price sticker on the back for only $9, which confuses me. Copy of New Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo DS. A copy of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D for the 3DS. And a copy of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D for the Nintendo 3DS. And these are both complete in their cases. Got this really cool Triforce light. I don't think I can sell it because it's missing its battery cover, but that's fine. Honestly, this is probably going to go on my shelf. This was something I didn't know I was getting. It's Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII for the PSP, but unfortunately it is case only. For the stuff that I didn't know I was getting, I'm not really complaining if the game's not in there, but I don't know. People need cases for their games, so. Got this copy of Maximum Carnage for the Sega Genesis with its original box. The manual in it was for Royal Rumble, so this will probably get listed on its own, and this game's probably like $20 to $30. And I got this Legend of Zelda 3DS case. It's really neat. It's got a little map in here too, so I don't know how much this sells for pre-owned. This was one of the things I just straight up did not look up, but it's pretty neat. Got this Zelda water bottle that I'm not going to sell because it's obviously been used. And got this Ocarina of Time 3D coffee mug. I think this sells for like $10. Definitely needs a wash. But this will probably break on me anyway because I hate shipping glass. I don't deal with glass at all. And we'll move on to the next shelf. Got these 2 plushes of Link and Zelda. Got these 3 Dragon Ball Z figures. This is one of Piccolo. And the brand on them is SH Figuarts. Figuarts. By Bandai. This guy sells for like... you can see my dog in my wallpaper there. Anyway, it's Piccolo. And he's brand new, sealed, never been taken out. I've seen comps on this guy anywhere from $50 to $75. Another SH Figuarts. This one is for Son Goku. He's also never been out of his box. I've seen comps most frequently at like $20, $25 for this guy, but I've also seen them as high as $80 and $120 kind of randomly. So I'll probably just comp him as is with the other listings that are on there. I think $80 to $120 seems a little weird. And then I've got this desktop real McCoy Son Goku figure. He's got like a little bicycle. I don't know. Anyway, here's what he looks like. Hopefully you can see him okay. Kind of hard to tell. Anyway, I seen comps on him for like $60, and this I believe is from Japan. A lot of the writing is in Japan on it, so that's pretty dang neat. Got these really neat Dragon Ball replicas. They say they're crystal, but I think it's more plastic than anything. It doesn't feel like crystal. The thing is, you can buy these brand new for like $10 to $15, so I'll probably list it at like... I'll probably list it at 10 and see what happens. It's kind of scuffed up, so some Dragon Balls. Now, this is something that I'm not real sure about. This is probably from Japan. A lot of the writing on it is in Japanese, as you can tell by this label here. And what these are Dragon Ball capsules, and I think this is like a reissue or something. That's why it says returns on it. The brand on them is Mega House, and if you look up Mega House Dragon Ball capsules, all the figures sell for like $15 to $30, depending on what they are. And what this is I believe this is a store display box, and it was never opened. You can kind of peek in there, and you can see that they're little Dragon Balls that are capsules that have these figures inside of them. So like I said, the figures sell for anywhere from like $15 to $30, depending on what they are. There's no boxes like this on eBay. There's no sold comps like this on eBay. This edition, the date on it is 2014. So I think I'm just going to list it high. I think I'm going to put it on there for like $200 and see if I get any takers. And if I don't, I'll just start it at auction and see where it goes. Because it's brand new sealed. I really don't want to open this and like open up all the figures and then sell them that way. I mean, I could, but I don't know. How would you guys tackle this? Let me know. I think I'm just going to list it as is, mark it really high, and see what happens. Whenever I took that $3,100 into consideration, this was not part of it because I had no idea what this was. Next up, we got the N64 in the box. The film is on the ground. This is just the box, so you guys can get a look at that. It does have that one little tear on it. Otherwise, the color on it's pretty dang good, I think. There's all the sides for you to look at. Like I said, I think I can get like 100 to 120 for this. I've got to test the console and see if it works. Hold on. This is well packed in the foam. It's got its original like order forms and the original manual in here. This thing is really, really clean. Honestly, it looks like it's only been out of the box a couple times. And this joystick is stiff as can be. All the buttons are really, really nice. So I might be able to get more than 120 for it. Like I said, I got to test it. It's all official Nintendo plugins and stuff like that. But I might be able to get more for it because this console is in really, really good condition. So, really good find here. And like I said, those one booklets that are really hard to find were also crammed inside this box. So, really happy that I ended up getting this. Got this Sega Genesis as a throw-in. This model's not worth very much. I do have to test it. I'm going to have to buy some cords. Actually, I've got cords for it because I have a Sega Genesis in my collection. So I'll test it. If it works, I'll probably buy some extra cords for it and try and get rid of it. I think I've got some junk Sega Genesis games that I can put with it. I'm not going to take them off the shelf, but you can see them right here. I've got seasons 1 through 9 of Dragon Ball Z on DVD, and they all come with their sleeves. Every single one of these sleeves was bought at a pre-sale or a resale store. And they're all priced at like $10 a piece. I know they don't go for that if I sell them as a set, but a good friend of mine said that he wants to buy them off of me, so I'm going to sell them to him. Then last up on this shelf is the Nintendo 3DS Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds edition. It's got the Triforce on the front. It's got its stylus. It does work. It's a 3DS XL, sorry. It does have a screen protector on it. It's in really, really good condition. All the buttons are really responsive. I did play some on it. The 3D function works. Really good condition. Comes with its original box. All the manuals and all the stuff is in here. And this sells, I remember right, like $130 if I remember. But this is in really good condition, so I might be able to get a little bit more out of it. I did get 3 of these gray PlayStation 1s. I have to test them. He said he thinks 2 of them work and 1 of them doesn't, and he made that clear in his listing, so I knew that going in. I do have to test them. He didn't have cords for them, which I also knew going into the listing, but I've got plenty of PlayStation cords in my personal collection to test them with, and if they work, I can order some cords and get them listed, and I know these sell for about $25 a piece, and I've got a bunch of PS1 controllers that I have no need of owning, so if they work, $25 for parts, I probably will just hold on to it, because I've got a bunch of consoles on that shelf right there. I think some of them don't work, so I might just make like a bunch of consoles a lot, but so yeah, if they work, $25. All right, now we're on to all the strategy guides. I got this official strategy guide for Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete. New in the day, this cost $20. Now, I think if I remember right, this sells for about $50. And I'm just gonna blaze through these really fast. Star Ocean: The Second Story, Final Fantasy VIII. Grand Theft Auto 3, GoldenEye for the N64, Tactics Ogre, Brave Fencer Musashi, Parasite Eve, Final Fantasy Origins, which contains both Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2, Suikoden, which this is like a $50 to $60 guide, and then Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Don't worry, we've got more. Final Fantasy 7. This is the Legend of Zelda Hyrule Historia, and this one is brand new sealed. This sells for about $30. And then I've also got one that is open and pre-owned, and that sells for about $15. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, but this one's in pretty rough shape. But surprisingly, this one only sells for like $10 to $15 anyway. Got brand new sealed hardback guide for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The official guide to Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, the Morrowind Prophecies. Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Fable. This one doesn't sell for anything at all. And the last of the guides, we got Xenosaga Episode 1. Save that one for last. Another one for Xenosaga Episode 1. Saga Frontier. This one hurts to look at. This is Suikoden 2 in really good shape. I think I could probably get like $70 for this one. They sell for $60 most of the time, but this one is in absolute excellent condition. Grand Theft Auto Dual Pack. So this is for Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And then last is this, it's in rough shape, but this is for Earthbound for the Super Nintendo. And the cool thing about this, always keep an eye out for this this guide. In the back of this guide, which mine doesn't, there are scratch and sniff cards. If you don't have the scratch and sniff cards, this thing's only worth like $40 to $50. Mine, I'm still going to ask like $25, $30 for this, even though it's in pretty rough shape. Somebody can use it as their like actual manual. But if this is complete and has those scratch and sniff cards in the back, this book sells for $100 all day, every day. A couple other things before we get into the PlayStation games. Got a copy of Zelda Monopoly that is new sealed. That sells for about $30. Got this awesome collector's edition Legend of Zelda Wind Waker puzzle. Brand new sealed. That sells for about $30. And this Legend of Zelda Map of Hyrule puzzle that sells for, it's also brand new sealed, sells for about $15 to $20. So real quick, before we jump into the PlayStation games, I've got this case for Forza Motorsport 4. Had no idea I was getting this. And this case for Animaniacs for the Sega Genesis. This does have its manual in it, just no game. Didn't know I was getting that. These three things, I don't know how to feel about it. I could probably part it out. This is a copy of Final Fantasy IX, but it is missing Disc 1, and it's a 4-disc game. This is a copy of Final Fantasy VIII, and it is missing Disc 3 and its manual. And then in this case, which you pointed out to me, so I'm not too upset, is this copy of Disc 1 for, or Disc 2, sorry, for Chrono Cross, and then a Disc 1 for Parasite Eve. And it's in a case for Chrono Cross, but it's missing its booklet and part of the actual cover. So some scraps there that I might be able to part out, because sometimes people just need the one disc or whatever. But every game I'm about to show you from here on out is complete in its case, and this is where we're going to have the most fun. So got this copy of Final Fantasy VII. You know what, we're going to fix this screen, because these are all going to glare really damn bad. That looks a lot better. If I hold it over here, you get less glare. Okay, so here we go. We got this copy of Final Fantasy VII. There is a crack in this case, but it is complete. Anyway, this one is complete, has all its discs, has its booklet. Final Fantasy VII goes for like $25, $30 if it's a green label. I'm not sure about black label. So I guess I should talk about that real fast. Black label is the original release, and then if it's a green label, that's mean it was labeled as a greatest hits. So it was like a re-release, and that's where some updates were. Hardcore collectors really like the black labels because they're a little harder to find and generally have a little bit more value. I would say most of the time, green labels and black labels sell for pretty close to the same price, but when you get into the like collector's titles, that's when it starts making a big difference. So Final Fantasy VII, Black Label. Final Fantasy VIII, Black Label. Have this brand new sealed Final Fantasy Origins Greatest Hits label. This brand new sealed Final Fantasy Chronicles, which contains Final Fantasy IV and Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is a really important game to look out for the Super Nintendo, but apparently the PlayStation version of this game is god-awful. So, not much to be sought after there, but it is brand new sealed, so that should be pretty good. Have another copy of Final Fantasy VIII. Have this Black Label copy of Final Fantasy Tactics. When I was looking stuff up, I did not see very many Black Label versions of Final Fantasy Tactics. Have a Black Label copy of Final Fantasy Origins. Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy Anthology. And then 2 more copies of Final Fantasy VII. And don't worry, that is all the Final Fantasy games. Alright, this is a disc-only version of Mega Man Legends. Chrono Cross, which is the sequel to the aforementioned Chrono Trigger. This is a good one. This is Urges God Bless the Ring. This game sells for about $60-some. Saga Frontier 2 is like a $35 game. We got Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Metal Gear Solid, which is my personal favorite video game of all time. Breath of Fire 3. Brave Fencer Musashi. This is like a $60 to $70 game if I remember right. I don't know. Some of these games I do have the strategy guides for. I might bundle them together, but I think I'd make more in the long run if I kind of separated them out. And just put in the description, like, hey, the strategy guide is also available. Black Label Xenogears. This is a really good game to find, about $60. Legend of Legaia. I don't know. The back of this case is pretty beat up. It's pretty cracked, but still should be a pretty good sale. Dino Crisis. Alundra 2. Saga Frontier 1. Wild Arms 2. Red Alert Retaliation. Or Command and Conquer Red Alert Retaliation, sorry. Have a Green Label Xenogears. And then Tactics Ogre. This is about a $100 to $120 game. This is a really hard to find one. First 2 here, I've got Front Mission 3, but it is missing its booklet. This game still sells pretty well, so I'm not going to order a booklet for it. Then we have Castlevania Symphony of the Night, a Green Label. This is not its booklet, it's just a piece of paper. This game, without a booklet, has sold multiple times still for $50, so I'm not going to order a booklet for that either. I have Green Label Parasite Eve. Legend of Dragoon. Mega Man Legends. This used to be like a $50 game, but right now it's kind of down. It sits around that $35 mark. Same thing with Intelligent Cube. This game used to go for like $50, $60, and now it's kind of sitting around that $35 mark. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Star Ocean, The Second Story. The game that will be getting listed last, because this is a game that I've been looking for myself, Einhander, however you say it. It's a side-scrolling scooter. This will be getting listed last because I'm going to play the shit out of this game. And this sells for like $120. Suikoden 1. Unfortunately, it's not Suikoden 2. And this is one of the weird games that has the double disc case, but it's only got 1 disc. And most of these games will say on the side, if I can get it to look like 1 disc, and then all the Final Fantasies. So if they're ever that dual disc, most of the time on the side they will say how many discs there are. For instance, this is Vanguard Bandits. This game sells for about $120, and it says on the side it's got 2 discs, so you know how many discs to look for whenever you crack it open. The thing is about this game is the game's only on 1 disc. The second disc that comes with it is a demo disc for another game, which conveniently I have sitting right here. Then we have Lunar Silver Star Story Complete. And then to close it out, we got Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete. And that's the name of the game. But both of these are complete in the box. And a couple of times these two games have sold together for $320. This copy of Lunar 2 is in absolute excellent condition. They Velcro open so you can see inside of it. Let me open this up for you because this is in really good shape. So when you open Lunar 2, inside of it you get this box that has the map of the world, which I don't even think's been unfolded. I'm not sure what these are, but they've never been opened. Oh, wait, it says right here. They're little cubes. They're little standees, I don't know. And it's also got this medallion, which I assume is something to do with the game. I have no idea. I've never played this game in my life. It comes with a copy of the soundtrack, and it's kind of tricky in here. Whenever you open it up, it looks like it's missing a disc, but if you read it, it says that you're supposed to take the demo out of Vanguard Bandits, the demo disc out of here, and put it in here. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But it comes with the soundtrack, and then it comes with all 3 discs of the game. And these discs are clean. They have, like, no scratch. A lot of these games, honestly, have, like, no scratches on it. This is one of the most pristine jewel cases I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this find. And then this has, like, this is the manual book that comes with it and stuff. So, really, really darn cool. And the inner PlayStation fan of me is freaking out holding a lot of this stuff. So, it'd be a lot cooler if I could show you guys Suikoden 2. But, so anyway, guys, that is my $1,500 purchase. Like I said, I think I can push close to $3,000 on this. Who knows? It may be even more. Could be less. My plan, like I said, today is Wednesday. My plan is tonight, tomorrow night, Friday, and Saturday. I'm gonna just hammer down trying to list this stuff. And if I can get it all listed by Sunday, I will add on to the end of this video how much I ended up pricing everything at. I think some of this stuff's going to sell really, really fast. I'm not worried. Like, I think I'm going to get my $1,500 back really fast, and then trying to get the last bit of it might take a little bit of time, which is fine. That's part of the business, you know? But, yeah. So, plus I'm going to get to play some super rare PlayStation games, and the inner child in me is really freaking out about that, so... Yeah, I think I did pretty well. I did make a big mistake. We went over that already. But I think I'm still going to make out pretty clean. So I will talk to you guys on Sunday after I've had time to list this stuff out. I know this video is really, really long, but I hope you stuck with it this far. So I will talk to you guys on Sunday. Hey, everybody. It is now Sunday night, and man, has it been a busy and long weekend. I think I got about 90% of the shelf listed. The only things I did not list were consoles. I did not list the N64 because I have to test it. I did not list the PlayStations because I have to test them. And I did not list the 3DS because I'm going to order a charger for it. And so I gotta wait for that to get here before I list it. I also didn't list the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition Ocarina of Time or the Monopoly game. My fiance is gonna buy those off of me. I tried to give them to her at a discount. She wouldn't take it. She knew that this was a big deal, so... I tried. Let it be known that I tried. But anyway, I listed, and I kid you not, exactly 100 listings of stuff. And let's recap before I go into the numbers. I initially thought whenever I first saw the deal that I would be able to sell all of it for $2,500. After that, I started looking stuff up, and I thought I was going to be able to sell everything for about $3,000. On the way home from the deal... I thought I was going to be able to sell everything for about $3,500, and then I went back down to $3,000 after I realized some stuff was missing. So, everything that I listed, the 100 listings that I listed, added up to $3,456.82. Everything that I don't have listed yet adds up to another $315. My fiance is buying $130 worth of stuff on me. So altogether, everything that I have, it looks like it's going to be added up and listed at the price of $3,901.82. And if you ask me, mistakes made and all, that's a pretty good return of investment of a $1,500 purchase. We're going to flirt with $4,000 on this deal, and that's more than I thought of on the way home. It would be nice to have that last $500 and say that I'm flirting with $4,500, but it is what it is. I've slept on it the past couple of days, and, you know, we're going to live and learn. So I'm not going to let it dwell on me. I still have a really good deal. We're going to make lots of profit. I've sold some stuff already pretty quickly. I think I've already sold like $120, $130 worth of stuff. But we'll be going over all that in a couple weeks. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I know it was long. I hope if you've stuck around till the end, and I hope you found it enjoyable, and I hope you all can learn from the mistake that I made. And I hope you're all as excited as I am to see exactly how this turns out in the coming weeks, months, however long it takes. So yeah, so a little bit of housekeeping here at the end of the video. Next week's video, we're going to do a recap video on the previous video game deal that I made back at the end of May with all the Game Boy Advance games. I finally sold Pokemon Gold, so I've officially sold everything out of that deal. So yeah, next week we're going to go break it down, how much everything sold for again, how much I paid, how much went to fees, and all that stuff, and we'll see exactly how much I made on it. On that initial deal. Then the next week, me and my fiance are going to be out of town, going on a small vacation over to Kings Island, so that'll be pretty fun. So the video that week I'll have recorded in advance, and we're going to do a what sold video, because it's about time to do one of those again. So yeah, I probably won't be hitting yard sales for a few weeks. Like I said, next week I want to try and hammer down on a lot of this stuff. The shoes are fine. A lot of this stuff hasn't been listed yet. There's a giant pile of stuff on the floor behind me that needs listed. So we're going to try and hammer down and get all that stuff listed as well. I think I have 66 listings left in the month of July, whatever month it is. So yeah, that's the housekeeping here at the end of the video. So I hope you look forward to those videos. Consider giving this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really helps out the channel. And as always, subscribe down below if you feel like this video earned it. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun couple of months, and I will see you all in the next one.